Hey guys, it's Benjamin, CEO and founder here at Bolt Deals, and today I'm going to be sharing with you how we generated 89 motivated sellers, got our client here, Michael, 7 closed deals at $174 cost per lead with Google PPC for wholesaling real estate. I'm going to be covering 4 main things here today. First, I already introed myself. Second, the proof and the results behind what we generated for him, our exact strategy, so that includes our ads, our landing page, our lead tracking system that we use to improve all of our clients' marketing efforts by at least 800%. And finally, action items and takeaways that you can implement into your wholesaling business to scale it to the next level with inbound marketing. With that said, let's dive straight into it. So this right here is UTM Monday. So you're going to see later how we use a tracking sheet, and he pretty much just built his own version on Monday. So we can go in, we can track all the leads came from the Bolt campaign, because he has other lead sources as well, like cold calling, texting, things like that, and how some of them are in contract. Obviously, some are lost leads, others are just leads, etc. Right? So let's go ahead and dive straight into the campaign and its numbers. So we ran 2 campaigns to start off with. The first one only spent $4,000, but our main campaign is spending about $14,000 right now. And the reason that is because our first campaign, our cost per lead, as you can see right here, was outrageous, right? So we only ran this temporarily because the numbers were just so bad, and we had to rebuild the entire campaign, and obviously we got a lot better results. So as you can see right here, we got $140 or $138 cost per lead, which is a lot better, obviously, than $953 cost per lead. 102 conversions, 19%, almost a 20% conversion rate. And what this tells us is how good our landing page is when it comes to actually converting those clicks into opportunities, right? And I'll be sharing with you the questions that we asked. That way you can copy that into your landing page and get similar results. So for Mike here, total numbers on this were $15,563.54 in ad spend. Out of that, 89 leads were not dead leads, because a few spam leads came in there, which is why you see the discrepancy between 102 leads that tracked by Google and 89 leads, which is my number. Out of that, we got 46 MQLs. So what are MQLs? MQLs are marketing qualified leads. These are basically sellers who need to sell, want to sell, they fit the buy box, fit the client's criteria, things like that. So these are actual leads that we can actually, make something happen out of them. And our MQL rate out of leads generated is 51%, which is not bad. Obviously, we want to aim this a little bit higher, towards 60 to 70%. But obviously, it's only our first 2 months with us, so that's a work in progress, right? Out of that, we got 7 contracts and 7 closed deals, which is 100% contract to close percentage, which is really, really strong from our client here, Mike. Daily ad spend is $260 per day. That's what it averages out to be. Cost per lead, as you can see, is about $174. Platform is Google PPC. Cost per contract is a little over $2,200, which is not bad, given that he has about a $20,000 to $25,000 average assignment fee, and his lead to contract ratio is right within KPI at 1 out of 12 leads, right? With Facebook, which you also see us run for our clients, the lead to contract rate averages around 1 out of 20 to 25 leads, and then on Google PPC, it's 1 out of 10 to 12 leads, so he's right within KPI. And if your KPI with PPC is more than that, it's either a marketing constraint where the leads are shit, or it's a sales constraint where you or your team can't close, right? That's the honest truth. So let's talk about our campaign strategy, right? Campaign strat, right? So the way we run PPC, I actually want to start off with the keywords, right? So you're going to see 3 pictures here, right? So these are example of keywords. This is not all of them, because we run like 600 keywords, but these are the main 3 that fit in the screenshot. So we run mainly phrase match and exact match. If you're unfamiliar, PPC has 3 main keyword types. You can do broad match keywords, phrase match keywords, and exact match keywords. For us, what we notice is we always try to stay away from broad match, because these are the leads that tend to generate retail sellers, sellers who don't really need to sell. They're not as motivated. So we try to stay away from this as much as possible. And the reason why we do is because, like I said, they generate shit leads. And the reason why other agencies tend to lean towards them is because they're just trying to push volume in front of you, right? And then blame you on the closing side. But that's a topic for another day. But for us personally, what I like to do is focus on phrase match and exact match, because these yield higher intent, motivated sellers who need to sell as opposed to just wanting to sell, right? So as you can see, all of these right here are phrase match. All of these right here are exact match, and then some more phrase match, right? If you scroll down, we have different variations. Aaron, you got to blur this out right here. And on the bottom, you can see us running an example ad. And these right here, if you see, we don't obviously leave it like that, but those are dynamic fields with PPC that Google would put into our clients' ads based on the locations that we are targeting, right? And then let's talk about our landing page strategy, because obviously ads is just one piece of the pie. You can have a great ad, target the right keywords, but if your landing page sucks, you're not going to convert any of those opportunities into leads, right? So let's start with how we set up our landing page. And the way we do it is 3 main steps, right? We have our survey, our seller survey. We have our property information page. And then we have a seller book a call. And the reason why we have this is so sellers can schedule appointments on your calendar directly and actually go straight to the acquisition manager. So let's go through some of the questions that we ask. The first one is obviously the address, property type, are you a homeowner or a wholesaler? And the beautiful thing about this is that if somebody selects that they're a wholesaler, we can actually push them outside of the funnel using conditional logic. That way the tag manager or the pixel knows exactly not to target more of these people. We ask them, hey, do you have a property to sell? Yes or no. If they click a no, we'll always try to route them out. Reason for wanting to sell, their timeline, asking price, are they flexible, occupancy, is it listed, are they behind on mortgage payments, name, email, and phone number. And then after they submit that, it goes to our property information page where we ask them the condition of the property, bedroom, bathroom, how's their garage, basement, AC, roof, like all of these. And the reason why we ask all of this is because if a seller's willing to go through all of this effort to answer all these questions, their intent and their motivation is higher than most, right? And finally is our book a call. The way this works, like I mentioned, there's an appointment scheduling calendar on the landing page, and the seller can book an appointment on that landing page and go directly to the acquisition manager. And something else that we also have is on the thank you page, sellers have the option to call us directly to maximize speed to lead. So feel free to take that and implement it into your landing pages. Now, let's talk about UTM lead tracking. So this is the pillar, this is the resource, this is a tool that we use, like I said, to improve our clients' marketing efforts by at least 800%. So if you don't know what a UTM is, it actually stands for a Universal Tracking Module. So here's how we use it, right? So all of our clients, we build out a lead tracking sheet right here, where we can track every single lead that comes in through our system, exactly which campaign, which keyword, which ad they clicked, the status of that lead. Is it a contract? Is it a dead lead? Is it a nurture lead? Name, are they an MQL, as you can see right here? I'm going to zoom in. Their address, which would automatically be populated, their state, the projected assignment fee, how many touch points, because obviously we want to optimize for the shortest cash conversion cycle, phone number, last contact, follow-up, next contact date, right? But the beautiful thing about Mike is that he actually built his own out of Monday because his team uses Monday as a project manager. So he just sends us access to that. We just scroll through it, and we could pull the data and export that data in order to make our data-driven decisions. So if you don't have something like this, you should probably build it out, because right now you're probably flying blindly. And your agency, if you guys aren't having a consistent feedback loop, there's pretty much no way they can optimize your campaigns. And if they are telling you that they're optimizing their campaigns, but there's no feedback loop, I hate to break it to you, but they're lying to you, right? So finally, let's talk about why they're so successful, right? How they got results like this in such a short period of time. First thing is a highly profitable inbound marketing system, right? So like I said, we build out all the ads, all the funnels, we do all the management, keep the feedback loops tight. They, on their end, have an amazing sales process that helps them close 1 out of 12 leads that come in through PPC. We have a pinpoint data attribution, and what that does is it helps us, the marketing company, the marketer, stay proactive in their account and make data-driven decisions. And finally, like I said, is consistent communication. We're talking almost every single day, whether it's on Slack or on Zoom. That way they know exactly what we're doing, what's working, what's not, our plan of action, our areas of improvement, and our game plan. And it also helps us set expectations with the client to know what's working, what's not, and what's going to happen. So here's how you can get similar results, right? Understand your strengths and stick to them. So with our client, Mike, his strengths are investing in real estate. A lot of the people that we speak to, they're real estate investors, not marketers, which is why they outsource the marketing to us, right? So understanding your strengths, whether that's sales, dispositions, doing the transaction coordinating, stick to that, hire out people that are better than you to take that over so you don't have to worry about it. Going local is always better than staying. Going local is also better than staying local. Stupid. Going virtual is always better than staying local. You may have seen me mention this in a lot of my other videos, but the reason why this is because when you give Facebook, when you give Google the ability to target more people, get more impressions, that as a result causes a domino effect, right? It lowers your cost per impressions, your CPMs, your cost per click, your cost per lead, cost per deal, and eventually increases your return on ad spend, which is what we're optimizing for here. Don't optimize for the lowest cost per lead. That's something you don't want, right? The third thing, business is a numbers game and a skills acquisitions game, so you need to treat it as such, right? So what do I mean by that? The beautiful thing about business is that it's a inputs and outputs equation. The more money you put in, the more leads you should get, and the more deals you should close. In addition to that, it's a skills game, right? If in the beginning, when you start out, you might not be the best at sales, but if you go out, get coaching, and you get better at sales, eventually you close more deals, right? And then once you're tired of closing deals and you need to focus on other areas of the business, you focus on hiring people. But when you hire your first team member, you're not going to be good at it, right? So eventually you're going to get coaching, you're going to make mistakes, and you're going to learn. So the more skills you acquire and the more money you spend, you should eventually make more money, assuming you're doing it correctly, right? Another thing in regards to this is that business is all about percentages. Let me give you a perfect example. Would you rather get 50 leads at a $20 cost per lead in order to close 1 or 2 deals? Or would you rather get 2 leads at a $500 cost per lead and close just 1? Most of the time, it's the second option because the percentages on a linear scale are greater. Meaning, it takes less effort. So in that example, it takes less effort because you're working less leads to close the same number of deals, if not more, right? So if you double the output of the second one, if you spend more inputs, if you spend more money on the second example, you eventually can scale a lot quicker. So I hope that makes sense. Third thing, make sure you're optimizing for the right objectives and metrics. Similar to the example that I just gave, are you optimizing for the most amount of leads, or are you optimizing for the most amount of contracts and or biggest assignment fee, right? Most people are just optimizing for the most amount of leads, which is not what you want. At least it's not what we want for our clients, right? We're optimizing for the most amount of deals and the biggest assignment fee, biggest profit per deal, right? So focus on the right metrics. And the fourth thing is profit is a breath of fresh air in business. It's the one metric that shows how profitable and how efficient your business is, right? So for us at our clients' companies, we want to focus on optimizing for the most profit and most net free cash flow, which is basically how much cash can we take outside of the business and go blow it on cars or whatever the client wants, right? And finally, how you can get similar results. Don't work with other agencies, work with Bolt Deals. With that said, that's all I have for this video. If you enjoyed it and you got value out of it, please don't forget to like, comment any questions you have, as well as subscribe and turn on post bell notifications so you can see our other videos as well. And finally, if you are an established wholesaler who's closing 2 or more deals per month and you're looking to scale your business with profitable inbound marketing campaigns, click the link in the comments or in the description to schedule a call with either me or a member of my team, and I'd love to sit down and break down exactly how we can get you similar results. With that said, my name is Benjamin, CEO and founder of Bolt Deals, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.